Also, if I'm like rambling, you can literally just tell me the next question.
No, you're good. All right. So at the moment, what are the job titles that you have as a singer or in entertainment, etc.?
um, so currently, I would say I'm a vocal producer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is what I am a session singer. I am a vocal teacher and a vocal coach.
Oh,
So
wow. So you do it all.
yeah, I mean, you kind of have to, right?
That is true. How many TV shows have you worked on?
um, I don't think I could count. Um, and that's not me being a big headed. I literally just don't keep
No, you're
track.
good.
I would say in the last, 7 years, if there's a TV show that's had extra vocals on it, I've probably been on it. So, the Voice, American Idol, the Grammys, American Music Awards, Billboard Awards, um, Mass Singer, um, Jimmy Fallon, James Corden, Ellen. I've done them all. It's kind of cool. I guess I don't ever like
Yeah.
reflect on that. So that's kind of cool.
And that's cool. Cause it's weird because I'll just be like watching TV, just sitting in my bed. And then I'm like, you look really yep, no you. Songland.
I'd like sneak. Oh yeah, Jane the Virgin, Songland.
Mm-hmm. It's
Definitely
you.
sneak in there on a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, it's you and Stevie I always see first.
I love TV.
All right. So how did you begin your career, I guess, as an entrepreneur or singing? Because I know
Um,
you did attend college and do music as well.
yes. So I went to Azusa Pacific University. I knew I wanted to be a singer, right? My whole life, I wanted to do that. I just didn't know how. So
Mm.
I also am from a very poor, like rural, not rural, rural, like heavily like Latino, excuse me,
You're
yeah,
good.
area. Um, and so my parents couldn't afford piano lessons or anything. I literally just sang at church, and so I went to college to go get like my education so I can know what I'm doing, singing
Yeah.
wise. And then I just started. I wish I could say there was like a moment, but I just started doing it. I just started going out for
Mm.
anything and everything. I was doing gigs for free for probably 2 years. Just anyone that would listen to me, you know what, actually, and YouTube really helped because that's when YouTube
Mm.
was becoming a thing. And I used to have like I had viral videos back in the day. I don't really do
Yeah.
them anymore because I don't really have time. But YouTube kind of was my launching pad to be like, well, listen to me, world, you know? And
Yeah.
after a certain amount of time, people just started reaching out to me to work with me and just somehow ended up in the session singing world, which I didn't even know was a thing until later on.
That's so cool. Yeah, I know like YouTube is like the launching point for so many artists and singers
Right.
out there.
Right.
Crazy. I had no idea about session singing until Charlene, she introduced me and she's like, yeah, this is what I do for work. I'm contracted to this
Mhm.
company and I do vocals. And I'm like, you can do that? I'm like, that makes
Right.
sense because when you hear songs from other artists, it's not their voice all the time.
Right. Right.
I'm like, Beyonce doesn't have the super manly voice, so it has to come from somewhere.
I mean, Beyonce might. Beyonce has everything.
But she hits
She
notes that I
definitely
don't
uses
hit.
other backgrounds. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So did you ever have like a mentor? Just someone
I
to look up to, I guess.
There are a couple of men. Yeah, I mean, Stevie Mackey's definitely one. I met Stevie when I was around 12 or 13. I did this
Oh, so
production.
really?
Yeah, I did this production at this church called the Dream Center, and I was like the lead. He always like if you talk, we asked him if he met me. Like I was in the hallways like singing Mariah Carey because I thought I was the only person on earth that could sing. And I remember him being like, "Oh, was that you?" And I was like, "Yes, it was." And so yeah, I mean, he got me back on The Voice later on in life. So Stevie Mackey's a huge mentor, teacher. Also, Kara Britz, who is she's the head vocal contractor at The Voice
Oh,
and
wow.
lead background singer. She's really been like my champion and my mentor like throughout the years. I can pretty much go to her for anything. And there's one other person named Denise, or her Instagram is Apollo Jane, but she's also an incredible session singer. I mean, worked with the entire world. So I've been very blessed to have incredible people that have looked out for me.
That's so cool how those paths just cross together.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So do you consider yourself, and this is just your personal preference, do you consider yourself more of a session singer or live vocalist? Because I know
I'm
some people
I'm a
like one or
singer.
the other.
Yeah, I'm a singer. I do love session singing. There are aspects of it that I'm like, man, that's so great. But also there's nothing like a live audience. And I think I mean, a lot of session singers pursue their artistry as well, but I've luckily been able to like, I'll still have, I mean, before COVID, I would still do
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 live shows a year where I have a full band where songs that I write, I love writing as well. Oh yeah, that could be a job title as well. I'm also a songwriter. I just had a song placed on a TV show.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
that show All American. Yeah. So there's another thing I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been able to keep it exciting for myself because session singing is not always the most um exciting, creatively fulfilling thing that you can do.
Yeah. So did you ever have any doubts going into singing? Because I know for me with music, my mom just doesn't want me to be broke when I grow up, and I understand 100%.
Well, you can show her my car and
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I mean, that's definitely a thing. I have just always known this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
So that yes, I have doubts. Like when I first got out, I thought I was the only person that sang good in the entire earth, and then I come to LA and everyone's better than me.
Oh
Um,
man.
and so, but for some reason that just motivated me to be
Mhm.
better. And I took it. Yes, I got down on myself for a little bit, but I have always been rather rambunctious is the word. Sorry, I'm taking off my wristbands from
You're
today.
good.
I've always just loved challenges, and so like having people be better than me, I was just like, great, and someday I'll be the best. Um, and I think that's like an important mentality to have because the industry is not for the
Competitive.
heart. Yeah.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense because I remember I forgot who I was listening to. But they're saying like when you grow up in such a small town or where it's all isolated and you are the
Right.
best singer, then it can definitely be a challenge. But that's what I love because I did like we had a local singing competition and it was so
Hmm.
cool to just connect with other singers who sang like me.
Right.
And I'm like, yes, I don't feel so alone. All
Exactly.
right. So what is a big challenge that you find in singing background? So either blending or just whatever.
Um, I would say, hmm, I would say really finding a way. Yes, blending is a thing, but I think we all can learn how to blend. But it's also
Yeah.
just like finding a way to blend that complements the artist.
Mm,
Um, because when it is a background singer, it's not about you. So as much as you wish that I can listen to me sing how beautiful it is, at the end of the day, no one's listening to that. People want
uh,
to listen to the artist, and so I think that it's finding ways to complement the singer while still being incredible.
yeah, that's very true. I didn't think about that. Yeah. All right. So how demanding can your life get?
I mean, it comes and goes in seasons, right?
Hmm.
But I mean, when I'm working, I'm working. Not, I mean, projects TV is so fast paced that when I'm working, it's
Wow.
just nonstop. When I just did this last season of Mass Singer, I was working, like 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. every day, nonstop for 6.5, 7 weeks.
It's that musician grind, I'm telling you.
No, it's great. And then, and then I'm done and then I did nothing for 2 weeks. And I just like worked out and hung out. And it's a really good ebb and flow of like super busy and like tension then release.
Oh, that's great. That does sound like really cool and fun, and it keeps it exciting too.
100%.
Hmm. Um, so how has COVID-19 affected your work life?
I mean, man, at the beginning it was pretty rough. All of my everything got canceled. I had like an entire year planned of things.
Mm,
Um, and I didn't have work for 3 months. Luckily, I did Mass Singer in the middle of that. So I'm lucky. I know a
uh,
lot of singers, aren't as lucky, and I'm very blessed. that I had that job in the middle of it, but it was very stressful thinking about the amount of work that I lost and would have to make up for.
I
Um,
bet. Were you
and I
guys
mean,
still shooting in the early of the year, or?
I finished season 3 at the end of February, and then COVID, we got locked down like the first week of March. So
Yeah.
I had all these travel plans to go live my life because I had just worked a intense season and then was stuck in the house for 3 months.
I can
Um,
understand.
yeah, and then moving forward, I mean, COVID now I'm getting anytime I'm on set, we're getting tested every single day. We have to have masks the entire time. It's just changed the entire industry.
Yeah, I bet. Um, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, but I understand. Yeah, because like I had a whole year of traveling ahead because I
Mhm.
finished my high school year. I
Right,
was supposed to go to Israel, China, all over the place, and then all of that was just kind of taken away.
right. It's
But
so lame.
yeah. All right. So how have you diversified your skills? Because I know you listed before you do songwriting, of course, session singing, and you vocal produce as well, and
Right,
etc.
right. I mean I started off as just a singer. I play a little guitar, a little piano. In college I got like classically trained, so I have like a classical training behind what I'm doing. But I would say my biggest diversification, if that's a word, was when I learned how to produce. I mean, that's changed the game for me completely. And luckily, I learned how to do that before the pandemic hit, so I didn't have to. So many singers didn't had to adjust to recording at home and work
Yeah.
out their kinks and blah blah blah. And luckily, I hated it in college. When we were learning how to do all this, I was like, I'm never gonna need to do this. Someone will always be there to press the buttons for me. And then I did the very first season of Masked Singer as a background singer, and I talked to the MD and was like, "Hey, I want to do vocal produce someday. What do I do?" And he gave me a list of equipment to do and to buy, and I ended up learning how to produce, and that's what's really helped me progress as well as get better at like singing. When you're recording yourself and you have to get it done well and it has to be on TV in a day, you kind of rapidly become good at that.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense because I had to learn, I'm still learning so much, but I had to learn to produce when, for our senior seminar project, we had to do like anything in the career that we wanted to go into. And I'm
Right.
like, oh, maybe I should make a song to find out that it's not that easy because you have to write it. And yeah,
Right,
and now
right,
I know so much, but before I'm like, yeah.
100%.
hmm All right. So how do you find a good balance between music at work and music as enjoyment? Because I know for like the type of singer you are, it can get very critical because you sing so well.
You're very kind. Um, I don't think I've discovered that balance yet. I get when I'm after this last season that I just produced, I didn't listen to music for like a week and a half because I was just tired of noise in my ears.
Mm,
Um, and so normally I'll try to write songs and stuff like that, but sometimes I just gotta not do music for a couple days. Like it can become so overwhelming that it's not enjoyable. That's just honesty. Like when it's work, it's very hard to. I would say 89% of the time it's enjoyable, right? There's like 11%
yeah.
where I'm like, if I have to hear another ooh or ah, I'm going to faint. But normally that's around like the end of a project, and so I can then bounce back. But I don't know if I've found a balance yet. I don't know if there is a balance for someone who does what I do in general.
Yeah, because it is an art. That's true.
Yeah. And when you're being forced, not forced, I love what I do. But
I know what you
when
mean.
it's not your own creative juices, it kind of just wears you down sometimes.
That's how I got a bit of a taste of that because for our church, I'm on the worship team as well. But
Hmm.
we have to pre-record everything. And there's been times where we recorded a whole set that took like 15 minutes, but we're singing our hardest. And then
Yeah.
to find out that the camera wasn't on, and we're like, oh my gosh.
You're so angry.
Yeah. All right. So, personally, how did you market yourself, or how do you market yourself? And this could be either via photos or videos, etc.
Um, um, I don't know. I think I used to think about it a lot, and I used to try to just make sure I was releasing YouTube videos and Instagram covers and Vine covers because I used to be a Vine.
Yes,
And I don't know anything about TikTok. Don't ask because I'm
me
too old.
neither.
But I think I just wanted to market it. It depends. I mean, honestly, I luckily only have good photos now because my boyfriend's a photographer, and that's all that matters. So like I can take good pictures whenever I want. I don't know. I don't think I actually market myself very well. I think I just have I'm just a little Latino boy who sings, but the blonde is cute, so that could be a new thing.
That it, yeah, it changed.
I think
That's cool.
at the beginning, I think I just wanted to stay present in people's minds, so I was posting a lot of things.
That makes a
I
lot
guess
of
that,
sense.
yeah, I guess that you can say that was like me marketing myself at the beginning.
Yeah, that's cool. I know my dad because he used to do photography
Uh
and
huh.
then he stopped. And I'm like, why? But there are some good photographers I know. But that's
Right.
just what I'm realizing is just what looks appeasing. Because when I'm
Right.
taking this music business class, they're saying sometimes when um, just your identity as an artist,
Right.
people aren't going to remember the music as much as they're going to remember your story or how you look.
Right.
And I'm like,
Exactly.
that does make sense because like there's so much we hear from the musician standpoint. Where
Yeah.
oh I'm gonna do this vibrato very wide and grand, and they're just thinking oh you're jamming. I'm like okay.
Yeah, 100%. And when I do my artist stuff that does have very like specific marketing, I just haven't done that in like a year or two. So I don't know
Yeah,
how to answer that one all the way.
no you're good. All right, so how do you stay current with song selections, and this could either be drawing people towards you, and then also so quick question, so when you do competition shows do you have to have like a catalog of songs you need to learn, or is it just kind of sporadic with whatever the artist chooses?
So luckily, well, let me answer the first part first, which is I don't think luckily I'm on shows that are doing current songs anyways. So if I hear a song that I like, because I don't really listen to the radio or
Mm,
like anything current, honest, I'm a grandfather and would rather listen to Stevie Wonder or Kirk Franklin all day and just lay in bed.
for
Um,
real, that's the vibe.
but I also have the mentality that if it's good, people will listen to it regardless of what I'm posting or what I'm singing. And so I take some of it from the work that I do, but also I just can make things current. Like I will take an older thing and the way I sing it and arrange it, I feel like feels a little more current than it would have been. As far as the catalog of songs, I work for events companies a lot, or I used to. Um, and for that, you just kind of have to learn every song to ever exist. So I mean, I do like 4 hour sets of just like song after song after song. But for
Mhm.
TV shows, not really. You just kind of get the song and you gotta learn it and record it. Like
Mm.
it's TV. I don't think people understand how quick of a turnaround it is. So you don't really have a chance to like go home and learn it. It's like here's a song tonight at midnight. Come in tomorrow at 8 a.m. and we're gonna record it. So you have to be quick.
Yeah, that's what Charlene was telling me. She said the pressure is on. I'm like, okay.
Right.
That's one thing I'm just trying to focus on is just learning songs quicker with
Right.
precision and not forgetting a bridge or something like that.
Right. Exactly.
Because for Charlene, because for us, like our worship pastor, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like he can't make up his mind 100%. So like we'll get a song 3 days, like with all the arrangements before we're supposed to tape it, and I'm like, okay, just sit down, work through it.
Right.
All right. So, what is the most pressure you've had to deal with in your career?
What's this pressure been? I mean, I don't particularly. I can't think of like a Can I think of a moment? I don't think I can particularly deal with like think of a moment, but I can say just working on TV in general is stressful.
Hmm.
Like there are moments where it's just like, if you ruin this, you're gonna ruin an entire like domino effect of things, you know. So it's
Oh
just
my
always
gosh,
go,
yeah.
go, go. I would say singing on set of any television show, live television show, is just a lot of pressure in general. It's
That's
live.
true.
It's live TV.
Yeah. Is that the same way with Songland? Because in this case, you're introduced to brand new songs that's never been heard before.
Right. It is those one. Songland's a little more chill of a set. It's not. It's not a super crazy rush to get things.
Oh, cool.
So Songland actually is a little more chill, and we have a little more time to learn the songs, especially because they're originals.
True.
Yeah.
All right. Um, so what would you say is the proudest moment of your career or multiple proud moments?
Oh man. Well, okay. So I mean, I've already mentioned it, but like one of the proudest moments even today is that I'm actually like the vocal producer of an entire show. Like that is,
Yeah.
I always in my head wanted that, and then now that it's happened, I'm just kind of like, oh wait, what the heck? I did that. And I'm still
Yeah.
doing, and still like I'm not fired yet. And like, okay, good for me.
Yeah.
Um, and that's one. And I got to do the Grammys, which was great. It was a huge thing for me. I did the Grammys with Pharrell. Um, and I also got to work with Beyonce. So like those were
Oh,
probably my
wow.
couple. Yeah, I got to do some stuff with Beyonce. So I would say that those would like stick out to me the most. But I mean, I'm just very proud. I mean, I'm not very proud. I am so proud of how hard I've worked to get what I like. It is very hard work.
Yeah.
Um, this is like a tangent, but I mean, someone recently, you messaged me so kindly, and I responded beautifully to you. But sometimes people just don't word their things right, and someone instead of saying like, can I have advice or blah 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 blah, can I pick your brain? It was like, well, how do you get all that? I mean,
Yeah.
you must have been lucky. And I'm like, I have been, pardon my French, like working my ass off.
Mm.
I started when I was 17. Like I moved out here when I was 17, and I'm now 28,
Wow.
29 in a couple weeks. It's yes, luck and also like favor, but I've been working my tail off. Like
Yeah.
there's not just like, it's not luck. I'm sorry, that was a tangent, but I
No,
just,
you're good. I'm all for it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I understand because it was on something. It was kind of with marketing and just outreaching, but just when people talk to you like they're a person instead of a tool. Because I still,
Right,
for me, I'm just in the beginning of my career, but I get all types of people like, "Hey, collab on this, follow me, support." I'm like, hi,
right.
how are you? You
Yeah,
know,
I'm doing good.
yeah, I'm alive, thank you. No.
Right, I'm a human being.
Yeah. So, do you get starstruck often?
I don't. They're celebrities are normal people, and I think they like to be treated like normal people as well.
Mm,
I got a little struck with Beyonce because that's the queen of the earth.
yeah, Queen Bee.
Um, so yeah, but I wasn't. I was the tiniest bit starstruck, and then you get over it. Um,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I remember just talking recently about someone that I actually got starstruck of. To be honest, if I still have not worked with Demi Lovato, and I think I might get starstruck with her because when I was younger, she was my everything. I actually got asked to work with her this weekend, and I'm already working on someone else's thing, so I had to say
Oh,
no. I'm so upset,
oh yeah. I'm like, she
but
camp
someday
rock.
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So
Yeah, definitely. All right. So, do you or have you toured before?
I have done small tours, but I actually was just talking to people today. People cannot believe that I've never done like a real tour. I have not done like a big. I've done a tour with Anthony Evans, and that's about it. And some stuff with Israel, but Israel was just like spot dates, so it wasn't really a tour.
I see.
But I would like to. I just once in my life go on a world tour with someone.
It seems really fun. but
It seems
demanding.
tiring, but I still need to experience it.
Yeah, because last year I had the opportunity to sing with New America Singers, which they just kind of do like small stuff. And we traveled to Hong Kong, the Philippines,
Incredible.
and then we visited Beijing. So we got to climb the Great Wall of China. But
That's amazing.
it was crazy because like this transitioning from the time zone, and then like we have to get onto the bus at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, 3 a.m. to me is like 5 o'clock when I go to bed. So I don't know.
Right.
But I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, no, people love it. I loved the small tours I did.
Yeah. All right. So have you ever had to keep a project or secret? And if you did, how was it and what was it?
I mean, all the time. I'm working on something now that today I just came from something that I'm not allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
It just becomes like a thing. You just don't really, it's your job. You can't, if you sign something, you can't, and it would be disrespectful to talk about it, the artists who are trying to keep their stuff safe.
True.
I will say working with Beyonce was the hardest thing that ever happened to me because I wanted to tell the entire earth.
Uh,
Um, it was for the Coachella performance.
oh, the iconic Coachella.
Yes, exactly. Um, and so that was hard. I wanted to, I mean, and that one was really cool because a lot of times they don't really have auditions. Like a lot of stuff is just recommended and then you show up. If you're good, they'll keep you. If you're not, they'll replace you. So that was
Yeah.
an audition, and I made it through the audition. So you couldn't tell me nothing. I was so happy to be there. I just wanted to tell the entire earth, and I couldn't.
Yeah, that's so
Excuse me.
cool. Um, so as an artist, so where do some of your creative influences come from?
So I would say it's so funny because I wish that I had more like R&B influences because I think that's what I lean towards when I want to sing.
Yeah,
But
because
I
you
mean,
be running. I'm like, yes.
I try not. I mean, I'm not. I feel like I used to be a runner. I'm a little more of a jogger these days, kind of like a
Mm,
fast walker. Um, I growing up, I mean, I wasn't allowed to listen to secular music, so I just like literally listened to Hillsong, Mexican like Latin music,
mhm.
and not even the cool kind. Like it's the kind with accordion, and then gospel music, Fred Hammond, Kirk Franklin, um,
Yeah.
and then I discovered Stevie Wonder when I was like 12, and he's a huge influence on my voice. And if you listen to my voice, it sounds like a mix between like a Latin person and Stevie Wonder. Like it's very
I
much
can
like
see it.
I sound like a Latin who just really has soul. Like
Yeah, that's
I don't think
cool.
it sounds exactly like what I listen to, which is like a little bit of CCM and a little bit of Latino and a little bit of soul music all like put in one.
That's so wonderful. Yeah, I understand. Because for me, like I grew up the similar way where a lot of
Yeah.
the music was just Christian music and then maybe some hits that you hear off the radio.
Yeah.
And then so that's the struggle for me. I'm trying to figure out is just how to catch up because
Listen to
there's just
Brandy.
so many.
Listen to Brandy and you'll catch up. That's what got caught me up.
Okay,
Brandy is the reason why people that you like are good. Brandy is the
the vocal
foundation for
Bible.
singing. Yeah, the foundation for singing. When I grew up, not when I grew up in college, I started listening to Brandy, and she's changed the game. And Jasmine Sullivan.
Yeah,
Uh, Also growing up, Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston, I was that little boy that was like singing at the top of my lungs.
yeah.
I
Okay,
love women. I love female singers, and I love like a good belt.
yeah, that's so true. Do you feel just kind of off a tangent? Do you feel like there's more pressure for female singers to keep that excellence than male singers? Because to me, it seems like
Keep that excellence
a
as in
lot of
like to
the,
stay good, or
I guess, yeah, just stay good.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's how their songs are written, right? Like Mariah Carey couldn't, like, even if she wanted to not be good, like her songs are the hardest songs to ever sing. So like If she
Yes.
would have wanted to not be good over time, she should have not written those songs.
Mhm.
You know? Um, so yeah, I don't know if it's like a different expectation. I think males are just like definitely keep up, but also male songs aren't written very hard. Like,
That is true.
yeah, unless it's like a freaking um Bruno Mars and Charlie Puth stuff's a little rough.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's as hard, to be honest.
Yeah. Um, so for you, how do you maintain vocal diversity? Because I would think like as a backup singer, you need to be able to sing all different types of genres.
Right. Um, I have learned to like kind of become a chameleon, and I do enjoy like I think I've sung every type of music that can be. So I just love listening and blending in. I
Mm,
don't think it's anything that I actively work to do. I think when you become part of being a good singer is being a good listener, and so
yeah.
I can blend into any style that you need. Sometimes rock, I really can't do rock very well. I can do old school rock, but like newer rock. But I mean, almost everything else I can be thrown into and add to the sound. So I think it's more about listening than practicing. I wouldn't know how to practice being a country singer, but if you throw me in the room with the country singers, I'll listen through one time and you'll never know that I didn't sing country.
That's so cool. Because I know with a lot of well, younger singers, they get so caught up on the practical side of it. Because
Right,
I'm definitely guilty of this, where I'm just so. Because for me, I'm such a perfectionist with my vocals. I want
right,
everything to be perfect, but then I lose the artistry. Like,
right,
why are they singing country music? It's relatable. It's
right,
something that makes you feel warm inside versus just, oh, I'm hitting this note and making an accent at the R or
right.
something. Yeah. Okay, so what is the funniest moment or memory blooper mistake that you can remember?
There's definitely been times on The Voice where I'm doing the wrong choreography and I'm on camera, like just wrong. So that's embarrassing.
Uh-oh.
I also go out on stage often with my zipper down. I've never been good at putting it up,
Oh no.
and but luckily they don't normally zoom in on my on my zipper. So, um, other than that, I can't think of too many like crazy ones. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I feel like you get to a point where you're so in that work mindset, and then you just kind of have to
Yeah,
tough it out.
I I mean, I definitely still crack on mic and stuff, but like when it comes to like it's all fine in like a singing atmosphere. Like when we're warming up at a session, I'm gonna crack at least 6 times unless I'm already warm, which you should be. I'm just sometimes not. It's like 8 a.m. I don't feel like warming up.
Understandable. So on a normal day, how long does it take you to warm up? Because I know for every singer, it's so different.
I, I my warm up is about half an hour. I have like a recorded one that I do for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but sometimes, it just depends on how much singing I'm doing that week as well. Sometimes it takes a lot more to break through. And sometimes after singing, for 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, I feel free.
Yeah.
I think it
I
just
mean,
depends on how much singing you're doing. Like right now, because I'm singing a lot again, my voice is starting to just get durable and starting to, whereas like through quarantine, I was like, I cannot warm my voice up ever. But I wasn't singing often,
mm,
besides like at home humming and or like shower singing.
yeah, yeah. I understand. I think for me, like I do one that's around 45, 30 minutes. Because like
Hmm.
in Bakersfield, the air is so dry and we have a lot
I
of
mean,
dust. So I have to
yeah,
be careful
the
not to
allergies
catch
and
any
asthma is
flu.
crazy there as well.
Yeah. All right. So what is your, I guess, life hack for learning new songs? Because I know I've
Um,
gotten advice that say like write every lyric down and sing it at the same time.
that's good. I mean, in general, it's gonna be repetition. So I don't think there are hacks. I think whatever works for you works for you. If it's parts, I will write the solfege or numbers out for
Mm,
parts that I have trouble learning. I don't know if you use solfege or numbers. LA uses a lot of numbers. I learned how to do solfege in college. Um, and so that helps sometimes, but I'm terrible at learning lyrics. And so
Same here.
the way I gotta do it is I just gotta listen to this until I hate the song. There's
Yeah,
literally a lyric part today in what I'm singing, and I was terrible the whole time. And I know the song. Like I've been listening to it since it came out. Like
yeah,
the artist I'm working with, I love. So I was like, this is annoying because I'm the only person here who listens to this person, and I still don't know the song. I
yeah,
know the song, just the words. When I'm into it, I could be speaking in tongues, and you won't.
yeah. Understandable. It's funny because like with some words, like let's say the word would be like rest, and I'm like, okay, what should I do? And it's that impromptu songwriting.
Hello,
Yeah,
wherever spirit leads.
yeah. All right. So I know you do a lot of CrossFit and exercise as well. So how has CrossFit helped you? And this could either be singing or just wellness.
I mean, in general, I'm taking a break from CrossFit because I'm a little injured in my back, but
Um,
I fitness in general has been like, an incredibly stable thing for me that has helped me kind of cope at times when I don't see growth in my career or in my relationships or anything. I can at least know that, hey, if I go to the gym today, I will be stronger tomorrow. And I can
yeah,
kind of get out of my head, get out of thinking about if I'm going to get more gigs, if I'm going to work more. Like it kind of gives me an hour of the day to just not think about anything and just throw heavy things around. Um,
yeah.
and it's kind of been like my little like meditation sanity. And
That's
obviously like
great.
and the health benefits are fantastic. And I have asthma, so I need to be, which is dumb as a singer. Like God was
I
like,
would
here.
never have known.
Well, I know I can't breathe all the time. And I think just to be fit, like really working out has expanded just helps me to keep my lungs healthy, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. Because you guys, do you do a lot of choreography? Or like how often would you
No,
learn?
but I mean, well, like for some of the events that I do, I'm dancing and singing for 4 hours. And so
Yeah,
if you don't have stamina, you're going to be sounding and looking like a mess.
yeah,
And singing takes a lot of breath anyways. So
it does.
you should be able to. You should be able to be on a treadmill and sing, which is what I'm hoping to do someday.
That's me. I'm trying to, cause I'll go running out with my dog, and then I'll try to sing at the same time. I'm like, my neighbors probably think there's some type of crackhead
That's fine.
outside.
They don't pay your bills.
Yeah. All right. Um. So, do you use any vocal products?
I don't. I don't really. I mean, products. I know there's like sprays and blah 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 blah. I maybe because I'm a little younger have not really like. I don't. Me and my voice are friends most of the time. Like I don't really feel like
Yeah.
I've come against a lot of principalities in my throat. And so I do drink throat coat when when it's like a long day. Throat coat and honey is normally like a staple, but other than that, just lots of water. I drink a gallon of water a day. So
Yeah.
I think the water helps keep me hydrated and really just helps. And exercise. Like I think all of that helps me to just be healthy.
Yeah, most definitely. It's funny because I had some people inquire. I don't know if it's a tenor thing or what, but he was like the vocal hippie. He had like opera drops. I'm like, what in the world? He
Yeah, I
had a
mean,
whole
some
bag
of the stuff
dedicated.
work. Some of that stuff works.
Some
I
of
just haven't gotten into it.
me neither. All right. So what is your overall process when you do have studio work? Because I know with some people they'll ask me for collaboration. I'm like, where do I even start?
What so like process as in like, can you elaborate a little more?
Yeah, I guess like someone wants you to sing a chorus or something, or I guess like a couple ad libs.
Right. I just do what feels and sounds good. I wish if I'm arranging something, like I can normally hear how the song needs to go and I can give options. So I just get all my ideas out. Well, that's if I'm doing it all myself from home, if I'm producing it. If I'm hired for something and there's a contractor there or someone in charge, that is me just being a soldier. So I sit there quietly, sing when I'm told to sing, don't sing when I'm told not to, and go home and get my check. Creatively, or when someone asks me to help create as well as sing, is when I just get all my ideas out and it's like, hey, whatever you like, keep. We can scratch whatever you want. This is just what I heard when I was listening to it. So, and I normally go along with like, what I think would sound good in the background. What could I use as like a certain like lead line? And then like, what would I do if I was the artist?
Yeah, that's cool. Because I know it's like it really challenged me creatively. Because I'm so used to getting told parts like, okay, you're gonna sing this. I'm like, uh-oh, what do I do now?
Right, when you're all left to your own vices.
Yeah. All right. So how do you know when to say no to an opportunity?
I mean, I don't normally. I normally
Mhm.
say yes to almost. I mean, actually, I'm lying. After a certain amount of time, I had to stop saying yes to anything because, as you elevate in your career, you have to start creating standards for people to treat you and pay you as. So
Yeah.
I no longer can work for $100. I'm so sorry, like type of thing. Like
Yeah.
I've learned that there's a experience and a product that I'm giving that only I can give, and I value myself that way. Um, so some opportunities I can't do, but I normally will suggest someone who can. But I also am coming into a place where if I feel like it's not for me, then it's not for me. I think that any work that comes my way and should be, I will have like peace about it when I say yes. And if it's not giving me that, then I'm fine with saying no. Like my opportunities don't come from humans, they come from God. And so
Yeah.
whatever is going to be mine will be mine.
Yeah. I like that mindset.
And it
um,
took a while. It took a while. It took my friends teaching me that because I was holding on for so long tightly to just, I need these gigs, I need this and that. And it's like, no, if you're holding on to all that, how's God supposed to give you what's for you? I was
yeah.
like, all right then.
Yeah. All right. So what is one piece of advice that you wish someone would have told you before you entered this career?
Shut up. Shut up and listen and and yeah, you're not it. I mean, yes, you are, but learn. I think I was stubborn in learning for a while. And it took me a while to just like I was humbled quickly, but I never like introvertedly not looked at myself introspectively and was like, all right, just learn. It was always like I would always be offended or get down on myself. If I would have just like shut up and listened and learned, I think I would be a little further than I am. But also, I think I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah. That's very true. It's like with some people, I've known, because I know sometimes you'll get a lot of criticism and you have to learn how to take it in. And
Right.
it'll be just how to do a part. Um, and that's something that I had to learn. Like it will be, let's be quiet at this part, and then I'll be belting it out, and I'm like, wait, hold up.
Right.
Right, yeah. um, so at the moment, what is your singing pet peeve? And this could be like health related, stylistically related, because I know there's
I think,
always like a trend that goes around
right.
that can get annoying.
I mean, I probably have a bunch of pet peeves. I'm a very critical singer. There are different types of pet peeves. Obviously, I cannot stand
Yeah,
when people overrun, which used to be me, and I still can do it live when I get nervous. I overrun because I used to overrun. But the older I get, the more I just want like a raspy tone to just sing me to sleep. Like runs are beautiful, but like I love beautiful voices.
yeah, and in the right place and right
Right. I
time.
mean, my voice teacher taught me that runs are like hot sauce. You put a little bit on your food, it tastes great. If you put the whole bottle on your food, you're not even going to taste the food, and it's going to be,
Yeah,
disgusting. And so I've taken that to heart, which is why I no longer think I'm a runner. Um, but I probably am. That's one. Another one is this is like professionally. I hate when, as a background singer, we're hired for something and people are still trying to sing consistently on mic on something so that people in the room can hear them. Um,
Um,
and it's just like we're all here to do the same thing and accomplish the same goals. And you wouldn't be here if you couldn't sing. Let's just like get the job done.
True. That is true because you're already here. You already proved yourself to do the
Right.
job. Yeah. I definitely like resonated with the running because like earlier singing because that's just what you see singers do live. So you think that you're supposed to do it all the time. And then I
Right.
had to learn real quick, especially with like an older audience, they're not going to want to listen to a little kid run all day. They just
Right.
want to listen to something melodic because that's what they're attracted to.
Right. 100%.
Yeah. Um, so where do you possibly see yourself going into the future? I know you talked about you want to do touring someday.
I
Um,
mean, right now, I really want to vocal produce every show to ever exist. After getting a little taste of it, I'm kind of very into that. So I see myself having a big company where I'm overseeing, three, four, five TV shows at the same time, where I have other sub music producer, vocal producers under me that I'm just conferring with and sending off to different sets. Like, oh, my friend Andy is at the Grammys today, while blankety blank is at the Billboard Awards, and this person's at The Voice, and I'm empowering other people to then take charge, and also hiring a whole new group of singers for everything. Um, so it doesn't even exist right now. So I'm just trying to create that job for myself. Um,
ah,
and on top of that, I see myself, writing a whole bunch more songs. I see myself having abs. I see.
really?
I don't know. I definitely have certain like small goals, but I just the more that I grow, the more I just want to um yeah, be retired by like 45. So I can just
Yeah.
travel the world and drink margaritas everywhere.
Yes. With a bag of
But I
chips,
do,
'cause that's me.
what'd you say?
Well, I said with a bag of chips, because that's me.
Hello, hot Cheetos.
Yes.
Um, and so, but I do see myself really being heavily involved in vocal producing and singing, but to a place where I can do both without them colliding all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to be able to like take gigs that I really want to take singing wise and produce gigs I really want to and not have to take them out of necessity.
Yeah. That's very cool. Yeah. All right. Well, that was all of my questions. We did it. I'm so sorry. I wrote like a whole ton, but I'm just so curious because I really
Oh, I mean, do you have anything else off the top of your head before we?
nothing at the moment.
Okay, great.
I think I'm all good. Thank
Okay,
you so
well,
much for this interview. I'm
of course.
ecstatic. Thank you.
I mean, I have a question. How did you just start following me randomly or like how?
Yeah, okay. So I started following you around earlier this year, I think,
Okay,
because that's when I really got into Instagram because I was saying, hey, this would be a good opportunity to just step out.
right,
Because so many times, like when you grow up and you think, oh, I want to do a sing or I want to be a singer, but then you don't think how. So I'm
right.
like, okay, well, maybe I should start networking. And then it was through I'm trying to remember if it was through You Better Sing that Instagram
Okay,
or if it was because I researched it was one type of hashtag something. And
okay,
then it was when you guys were singing Total Praise, that's what it was.
okay. That's so old, but yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, I love this song. And I'm like, who's that person singing really high? Because I want to be able to sing high too. And then I'm like, yep, that's you. And
Love being a soprano. That's like my favorite thing.
yeah. So I
That's
think
so
that's when
cool.
I really learned. And then I noticed that you follow Charlene, and I'm like, how come Charlene knows everyone?
Well, because Charlene's like the OG. She's so good. I mean, I'm not a soprano compared to her. Good Lord. She's
Yeah, I'm like, I
fantastic.
can't.
Right. She's incredible. Please send her lots of my love.
Definitely. She's gonna have her baby in
I
February.
was
She has a
about to
second
say
one.
she's pregnant again, right?
Yeah. So
Oh
I'm
my
so excited
goodness.
for her. We're trying to help her as much as possible, but
Are you from Bakersfield?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Well, yeah,
still
yeah, I'm glad. I always love when someone from the Valley is pursuing music. And I feel
yeah.
like not many of us do.
Yeah. It's weird. It's trying to like find a good scene, I guess, with music because for Bakersfield we're always known for country music, but I'm not a country singer.
Right.
So it's just kind of breaking out of that mold. And I'm learning more and more. There's so many people in the music industry in Bakersfield that people don't necessarily know about.
Right.
So it's cool to just kind of get those connections and ask questions, and they're always so willing to help. So
Good.
yeah,
Well, now we're friends, so feel free to message me whenever. Sometimes I'm not good at responding.
you're good because you're
I
busy.
will help. I will respond. I also just like don't, I'm trying not to be on social media often. So I appreciate you reaching out and I feel very honored to have done this.
um, Thank you so much. All right, I'm gonna stop recording.
Okay.